Victory Hill is back. And I just got out of the Battle of the Five Armies. It was actually quite good. I'm trying to hold this as far away from my face as possible so I don't take up the entire frame. Ah! That's my friend Justin there. No, now don't think that this is going to be a regular feature, because it will not. I don't get out enough. Hannah! A bearded Hannah, for she is a dwarf apparently.
Apparently.
And hold on, let's see what everyone thought of the movie. Oh my goodness, there's puddles on the floor. Hey, what did you think?
It was awesome.
Awesome. Louder than that, boys, louder than that.
It was awesome.
There you go. Hello again. I'm back at my car, and I thought I'd share some of my thoughts on the movie now that I'm, back in the car, and the others have skedaddled off to, because they have to get to sleep and have school and work and crap. I have work too, but whatever. So I thought I'd just share some of my thoughts about the movie. It was actually really good. I mean, heck, it's Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, all over again. Very well done. I thought it was actually, in some ways, it had a lot more brevity than Return of the King, which it was like ending after ending after ending, which was appropriate, but I thought for this movie it was just like much more brief. I was expecting more endings, but as it was very good. Highly recommend it. Excellent end to the Hobbit trilogy, and if this is our last sojourn to Middle-earth, not too bad a note to go out on. I don't usually do these reviews. This is my first one, actually. It's probably, as I said before, it's probably probably not going to happen very often. But every once in a while, I think it would be all right. I know, I'm ripping off Cinema Snob. Ooh, I'm sure he ripped off someone as well. But as I said, this is not going to be a regular feature, so there you go. Hello there. This is about 18 hours since I originally saw the Battle of the Five Armies, and I've had basically an entire day to compose my thoughts, even though I was pretty out of it, especially in the morning, after only 3 hours sleep. However, I have to say, I still really, really like the movie. As the day has gone on, I've actually come to like it a lot better. Even though it does have some flaws. It's not a flawless movie. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And I can't wait for the extended edition. But I'll get more onto that. As you can see, as you saw earlier, my initial reaction was, "Wow, yay!" And I'm really not one who can really talk about a movie the moment I see it, usually, unless I'm with at least one other person who I can banter with pretty well. And everyone last night had to skedaddle off for home and whatnot, so I couldn't just, wrangle them over. But that's alright. So I've had a day to sort of think about it, and yeah, I still really like the movie. The action. I mean, this is a movie that is basically just almost one giant action scene. One after another, after another, after another. It never really let up. It just kept going with the action until it finally stopped, and that was it. Had the ending, there it was. And they say that this is supposed to be the shortest of the trilogy, but I have a feeling it's not going to stay that way. And I'll get to that. Again, I'll get to that later. I think I'll discuss the flaws first. There's not many that really bother me, but there are a few. The least of which is probably it felt too short. I know a lot of people out there are going, "These movies are too long as it is." I don't care. I want to see the whole story. And I could tell that there was scenes missing from this movie. There were some threads I was like, oh geez, I thought they were going to revisit that at a, at the end, and they just never did. But I would love to see those scenes added back in the extended edition. So I'm eagerly anticipating that, because that's, I think, will be really, really interesting. One of the more major flaws for me is basically embodied in one particular character. And a lot of people are going to say, it's the Master of Lake Town. No, it's actually his toady. Because, you see, Master of Lake Town at least had the good sense to die. Whereas his toady just lingered on and on in this movie. And it was like it was building to him being redeemed, at least just a little tiny bit, and he just never did. He was a complete douchebag toady from the beginning to the end, annoying from the beginning to the end. I just wanted him gone. I don't care if he died or ran away or whatever. He had served his purpose with his master. He probably should have died along with him, or at least skedaddled with what little gold he could have gotten right after the destruction of Lake Town, and not lingered at all, because since he didn't really have any arc, he was just this annoying thing. He was not funny. I don't know why. This is basically like a Jar Jar Binks kind of situation, where you have this character that's really not offering hardly anything to the movie, and it's just annoying as hell. And I was like, no, enough of you, please go away. I'm not so cruel as to, agree with the people of Lake Town that he should have been, basically lynched. He deserved it, but still, that's kind of, even for him, that's cruel, because he's just such a pathetic sod. But what little we got with him when in the Desolation of Smaug, he was tolerable. Not in this one, not in the Five Armies. He was absolutely an insufferable asshole, and he should have been excised from the movie. But what are you gonna do? Another minor flaw, which doesn't really bother me, but seems to be bothering other people. The movie is a little too blunt on the whole, great is evil thing. Yeah, we kind of got that. We have the Master of Lake Town, who's a greedy SOB, and he dies because he is a greedy SOB. And you have Thorin, who gets the dragon sickness, and he just cannot part with his gold. Basically, he has the mentality of a dragon, where he will just hoard the gold for no reason, and he will, strike out at anyone and anything who he thinks will jeopardize that particular relationship. And then you have the armies who've come to take the mountain, and they're just, fighting each other for, oh, we want our share, we want our share. Really the only ones who really have a completely understandable, okay, yeah, I give it to them kind of claim is the people of Lake Town, whose lives were completely destroyed because of the quest of Erebor. It may be the dwarves, led by Ironfoot, because, well, they're dwarves, and that's their capital. And no matter what slight Thranduil had years ago. Man, talk about someone who just can't let shit go. I know you're immortal. You should be able to let things go. And he just can't. And talk about a particular plot point that does not come back up is in the Desolation of Smaug, he gets mad at Thorin and starts screaming at him, and his face kind of melts, and then it goes back. And I thought they might have touched on that just a little tiny bit in this movie, and they didn't. I'm still a little in the dark as to why that happened. As you can tell, I haven't read the books. But, there are a lot of people who, say these movies are too long and whatnot, and too complicated, and, it should stick closer to the story, and I really just do not agree with that. I completely love these movies, really, except for, the few minor flaws, and a lot of people say, oh, you should excise that, I guess, you should excise this, you could excise that. I'm like, yeah, you could, but, again, if you went strictly to the book, you would just have Gandalf coming in and out for no reason, apparently. And then, at the end, oh yeah, I was fighting a necromancer. Oh, did you want to see that? Well, tough titties. Again, going back to plot lines that could have been expanded upon. Like I said, the movie seems to end rather abruptly. More abruptly than I thought it would. So, again, there was some plot lines. I thought the journey back would be a little bit longer. I thought it would be a little bit more epilogue to it. But, c'est la vie. I also thought there should be more of Beorn, because he just sort of shows up, turns into a bear, and then we never see him again. And, why even have him in the movie if he's really in these movies? Why even have him in the movie if you're just gonna, let him go, basically. Similar with Radagast in this movie, but not nearly as bad. He was riding on a eagle, I guess, so. But, and again, I think in the extended edition there's going to be a lot of material added in. I'd guess maybe a half an hour. But, I'm just guessing, but I would kind of hope it would be about a half an hour, but I guess we'll see. A lot of people had a problem with the love scene, the love triangle, with Legolas and Tariel and Killy, and I didn't really have that big of a problem with it. You could excise it, and the story wouldn't hurt from it. You could leave it in, and I don't think the story really hurts from it. It's a lot of people think it's an unnecessary distraction, and I can see their point. But I don't really mind it's in there. Now, some of the good parts. It's, of course, phenomenal special effects. Great direction, fantastic visuals. I think it stayed true to the characters and the tone, and there was plenty of call forwards to the Lord of the Rings. Basically, a lot of these movies are setting up the events in Lord of the Rings. Although there were many, I think that, there were many battle scenes, and you do get a little bit of fatigue from that, but they were very well done. They were very entertaining for the most part. Funny at points, tragic where it needed to be. I thought the death of Thorin was handled beautifully. It was a little over the top, but again, I don't mind that it's over the top. These are over the top movies, from Lord of the Rings to here. They are over the top movies, and I kind of like that. Honestly, going back to the original Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, before that, I did not like fantasy movies. They kind of sucked. I didn't really care. And then someone said, hey, this is, you should see it. It's good. And I said, really? Alright. So I saw it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is good. So I've been on board ever since. I think all these movies do integrate in fairly well. You can kind of see some of the actors have aged a little much since they were in the original Lord of the Rings. I was watching some scenes from the original trilogy, and yeah, you can tell, you can definitely tell there's some aging there, but I'm not bothered by that for the most part, because it goes back to what they say about Merlin. He aged backward. So it kind of fits. I really liked the battle between Saruman and Sauron and Gandalf and Galadriel. Seeing Galadriel enchanted again, I think that's what they call that. That was good. Yeah, I like that. You know, as a riffer, you do occasionally get the urge to riff here and there, even on the best of movies. It didn't too much on this one. There was one scene, and it was a really good scene with Thorin Oakenshield, and he was basically hallucinating on a floor made of gold. It makes sense if you saw the movie. And he's basically confronting how greedy he's become and that this sickness that's starting to take him over. And he does defeat it, and as he, basically casts aside the sickness as best he can. And he basically takes off his crown and chucks it, as he, sloughs off his sickness. And I had the urge to say, it was the crown! It was the crown the whole time! It was a fun night, fun movie. I went to see it with friends over at a very nice theater, very plush seating. It was these nice leather recliners. I'm not the one who bought the tickets, my friend Justin. Hey Justin. He went out and bought the tickets, and he said, hey, you want to go to this theater? It's a little further away, but nicer seats. You can, reserve seats too. I'm like, yeah. And afterwards I told him, if you want to come back here for basically all the movies you want to see, I wouldn't mind a bit. So yeah, this has been one of my first reviews. I'm hoping to make maybe a few more. I'm not interested in really making this a regular thing. Just, the occasional movie I happen to see in a theater, which is an unfortunately rare occurrence. Again, highly recommend this movie. If you liked the first two, you're probably going to like this one just as well, if not better. If you liked Lord of the Rings, then you're going to have to watch the other two movies and then this movie. If you don't like this movie, whatever, you're free to hold your own opinion on that. I completely understand people's, getting weary of how large in scope these movies have become. I hesitate to use what people are people calling it bloated. I wouldn't necessarily say so, but I can see their point. I just don't agree with it. Before I go, just a little shout out. As you can see, I got this. This cap is brand new. It was a Christmas gift from a Yankee swap I had at the a soiree I went to over the weekend, and we gave and got very cool things, and at a very cool place. I'll probably get into that eventually, but the place actually isn't open yet. It was a special gathering at a special place, and I'll probably mention it later on in some future thing. And look out for the actual first episode of my video log, which has already been recorded by Norm, but well, he's still editing it, and he left me to edit this because this is my thing, and I thought it would be a nice sort of non-introduction. I don't know how that sounds. Oh well, Battle of Five Armies. Excellent. Excellent movie. Oh boy.